Hello and thanks for joining me for this session. In this lab, we will learn how to enhance the routing rules in a virtual service to give us fine-grained control on how traffic is routed within the mesh. Let's get started. Istio's request routing allows to control traffic flow between services deployed within a Kubernetes cluster. For instance, it enables the testing of new features by directing a subset of user requests that meet specific criteria to deployments with the latest functionalities. Some examples of request match criteria that can be defined in Istio include the HTTP header, URL path prefix, query parameters, and there are many more. Istio's request match criteria are defined using an HTTP match request object in a virtual service resource. As we saw in the previous lesson, we have two versions of the customer's application, namely V1 and V2, deployed on our cluster. The V1 version returns the first name and last name of the customers. The V2 version additionally returns the country information. We have a virtual service in place that is routing all requests to V1 currently. We will now check an example of a HTTP routing rule that directs traffic based on a custom header passed to the HTTP request. In case the HTTP request has a header named user with the value Adam, the request will be routed to V2. All other requests will be routed to V1. Let's take a look at the virtual service manifest that will define such a rule. The first routing rule in the example has a condition and so begins with the match field. In this case, you want this routing to apply to all requests from the user Adam. So you use the header user and exact field match to select the appropriate requests. Let's apply the virtual service definition. Now we will invoke the request by passing a custom header named user with the value as Adam. You see that the country information is retrieved, which means the request was routed to V2. Now let's pass another value to the user header. Instead of Adam, I'm passing the value as Eve. There is no country information returned, which means the request was routed to V1. Let's invoke the request without any header value. Again, you see that the request was routed to V1 as there is no country information returned. Similar to the HTTP request header, a number of other criterion can be defined in the HTTP match request. The full list is present in the documentation shown on your screen. I will paste a link to this in the show notes. Well, that's it for this lab. Hope you liked it. I'll see you in the next one.